there are a lot of folks that a lot of my patients who really talk about the fact that they feel down, that they feel like that they're lethargic, their energy is not quite there, and what can we do about it? Is there science behind really knowing why you're feeling this way? Hi everyone, Dr. Partha Nandi. Thank you for joining us today. I'm in Michigan. It's November 1st, and it's a beautiful 70 degrees. And on days like this, sometimes it seems like it's easier, right, to not be down or feel melancholy. But there are a lot of folks, that a lot of my patients who really talk about the fact that they feel down, that they feel like that they're lethargic, their energy is not quite there, and what can we do about it? Is there science behind really knowing why you're feeling this way? So today we're talking about, hey, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling lethargic. Can we do something about that? So I'm Dr. Partha Nandi. Thank you for joining us today. I'll tell you, lots of people, me included, right? You have times when you are you feel down. That's just normal, right? It's episodic. But what happens when it takes over your life? What happens when you have feelings that are more long lasting, and it lasts day to day? What happens when you have those feelings, right? First of all, let us know if you have those feelings and how you cope with them, and what you do when those feelings actually come over. And the feelings, what I like to do today is talk about the science behind it. What really causes these ups and downs, the stresses and the hassles and setbacks, right? Normal part of life. But with COVID, with the pandemic, lots of folks have had more negativity, right? And major effects on our life. And in fact, what we found out is that since 1972, in a general social survey, Americans uh, have been asked whether, considering with all of the stuff that's going on, are they're very happy, pretty happy, or not too happy. And the percentage who said that they're very happy, and get this, you know 24% said that they were not too happy, compared with 19% who said they were very happy. The former is a record high, right? While the latter is a record low. So we talk about the pandemic, and all of the situations, and all of the stressors that affected us. When you're unhappy or have recurrent negative emotions, they can affect all parts of your life, right? It can be unsettling. And as a society, often we're told to kind of keep it down, keep it inside, don't talk about your emotions. I know from my patients, when there are days when they really struggle, I hear questions, right? Like, hey, I don't know why I feel so sad, so angry. Why am I? And the translation, symptom wise, right? Why am I so exhausted all the time? People who are also don't feel good, right? And they don't have the mood that they want, are also exhausted all the time. Why can't I focus better? Emotions, right? They're a normal part of our lives. Feeling sad or angry isn't unusual at all. What happens is that when they're not temporary, right? When they become more long lasting, uh, normal human emotions, when they're temporary, are just ways you basically accommodate some of your emotions. But so why do we have these periods when we are not at our best? Why do we have periods of melancholy or sadness? And why do we get so tired and unfocused in the middle of the day? Our normal circadian rhythm, so that's the daily rhythm, it dictates a period of sleepiness or decreased alertness in the afternoon. And our diets are not supportive of this either, and they're not supporting the chemicals that are needed to really improve our mood. So you got a double whammy. You got a circadian rhythm that gets you to have decreased alertness in the afternoon, and our diets, they're not supporting the stuff that is needed to support our mood. So what are these chemicals, right? We talk about this again. I'm Dr. Partha Nandi. Thank you for joining us. Give us your feedback. Tell us what you do when you have these feelings. Tell us where you're from too. I appreciate that. What are some of these chemicals? Let's get right to it. A key one is called serotonin. You may have heard of this. Many of you may have heard of serotonin. Serotonin is also known as 5-HT, 5-hydroxytryptamine. and it's a fancy word, right? A monoimmune neurotransmitter. It also acts as a hormone, which means it goes places and causes effect. As a neurotransmitter, serotonin carries messages from what? Between the nerve cells in your brain, right? Your central nervous system throughout your body, right? Which is your peripheral nervous system, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. And then these chemical messages tell your body how to work, right? So some of these emotions and thoughts and feelings, are controlled by chemicals. One of the things that it's very difficult for people to understand is that your thoughts may not be your own, and having the right concentration of chemicals could be the difference, right? And most of the serotonin, surprising to many, are found where? In your gut. I love it because the gut to me is really the center of health. And when you have serotonin that's produced in inadequate quantities, by the way, about 90% of serotonin are found in the cells lining the gastrointestinal tract. To me, that's when I first learned that, it was amazing. This is, you know, we're in medical school, they're not teaching us this stuff, right? This is knowledge that's to me relatively new. In the last decade is when we find these things, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. And why that's important? Because then you can control it. Because before, just like I'm sad, that's how it is, it's how I believe it. Now you know that you can do something about it. When you know that chemicals can make a difference, you can do something about it. uh, and what happens is that, like I said, 90% of serotonin is found in the cells lining your GI tract or gastrointestinal tract. It's released in your blood circulation, and then only 10% is actually produced by your brain. Imagine that, right? One of the most important neurotransmitters, one of the most important chemicals helping you with this mood, 10% produced in the brain. And serotonin plays a role in many of your body's functions, mood and sleep. We'll talk about mood first. So serotonin in your brain regulates your mood, right? It's often called your body's what? Natural feel good chemical. And when serotonin is at normal levels, right? Appropriate levels, you feel focused, emotionally stable, happier, and calmer. Super important. Low level of serotonin, what do? They can be associated with depression. Many medications used to treat anxiety, many of you know this already, treat anxiety, depression, other mood disorders, not always down, but also up or down or not dysregulated. Many medications used to treat this, always seem to target serotonin, and they target serotonin in your brain. So it's important for mood. What about sleep? Anybody who's heard me knows that I talk about sleep as brain food. So serotonin, together with another neurotransmitter, another big fancy name called dopamine, plays an important role in the quality of sleep that you have. Not just the quantity, but the quality, right? How well and how long you sleep. It's kind of like other things in your life, right? It's not always the amount that you have, it's the quality of sleep that you have. And your brain also needs serotonin to do what? To make melatonin. A lot of people, a lot of my folks that we talk to on Facebook, a lot of our friends on Facebook talk about melatonin and how they use that to sleep. Well, serotonin is needed in your body to make melatonin. So that's the hormone that regulates your sleep wake cycle. So sleep as well as mood, serotonin is super important. Now, what about besides depression? What else, right? What else? What else can we when we talk about when we talk about low serotonin levels? So when we have low serotonin levels, you can look at many different things: anxiety, digestive disorders, suicidal behavior, obsessive compulsive disorder, post traumatic stress disorder, panic disorder, schizophrenia. The list goes on and on. Phobias. Serotonin plays several other roles in your body, including influencing learning, memory, regulating body temperature, sexual behavior, and hunger. So, a lot of people talk about obesity and how sleep is important in obesity. Many of these functions, right, are related to the chemicals that you have in your body. So super important to know that. Serotonin is incredibly important. You have to have the right amount. It's not always, and we always talk about, hey, you know what? We should just get more and more. It's not always about that, but rather it's getting the appropriate amount. So important there. What can you do, right? What can you do to improve mood, focus, and sleep. We're talking about it. Again, thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. And Amanda is an awesome friend of ours. Thank you so much for joining us. And somebody from Michigan says, good evening. And Barbara Schrader, Dulce, thank you guys all. And will please send us your questions and let us know, where you're joining us from. We'd like to answer as many as we can. But getting right into it, right? So, what about what about looking at ways you can improve your mood, your focus, and sleep? It's not always drugs. It's not always changing things, right? What can you do, right? We talk about you've got your mood and you want to improve it. What can you do? Take walks outside. We know taking walks outside, moving with purpose does what? It changes the entire algorithm. Regular exercise is known to do what? Again, we're going back to serotonin, known to increase serotonin levels. But you don't need to spend. A lot of folks say, I got to go to the gym and spend 16 hours, exercising. It's not bad. Taking a brisk walk, I'd say, 20 minutes would be great. And what it does is we know that these happy chemicals get released. And there's a direct link that we know between exercise and cognitive ability, especially attention. When you exercise, you increase the availability of brain chemicals that promote new brain connections. And so we're talking about, right? We're talking about improving your mood. But what about for kids, right? I tell my kids that when they're, I've got an 8-year old, a 10-year old, obviously my 3-year old will not understand this as well, but you improve brain connections when you're actually doing this and you're moving it and you're increasing the amount of brain connections that you have. So again, no guarantees, right? But exercise can also have a side effect of having you sleep better. So I would start your morning with trying to get a plan where you're actually moving every day. Also, what about sunshine? Start your day, try to get as much sunshine or at least more sunshine. Why? Because daylight affects how the brain produces melatonin and serotonin. When there's less daylight, the brain produces more melatonin. When there's more daylight, the brain actually makes more serotonin. So when you have when you're producing more melatonin, then you can actually increase the amount of mood that you have. So when you have less daylight, you are actually decreasing the amount of melatonin that you have. Shorter days and longer hours of darkness in the fall and winter can lead the body to have more melatonin and less serotonin. So when you have less daylight, more melatonin, more sleepiness. When you have more daylight, the brain makes more serotonin and wakes you up. So the imbalance is what creates the condition for depression, sometimes also called seasonal affective disorder. Uh, when you have seasons where we are, right, we're in Michigan, we have these long winters. Seasonal affective disorder can be very, very, very crippling for some people. Now, what about lowering stress levels? Being active helps. Virtually any form of physical activity can act as a stress reliever, right? So, besides walking that I mentioned earlier, gardening, house cleaning, biking, swimming, anything that you enjoy. The key is that, to me, you have to enjoy it. You can't just say, "Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the gym and I hate it." To me, it's purposeful movement that you enjoy. So any kind of activity will help. To me, also, meditation is critical. During meditation, you focus your attention and quiet the stream. What happens? Your thoughts are powerful, and when they're jumbled, you're crowding your mind, and you can increase the stress. So meditation can kind of gather those thoughts. Just the simple act of breathing will be important enough. And medication can instill a sense of calm, in my opinion, peace, balance that can really benefit both your emotional well-being as well as your overall health. Guided meditation, some of you may do this already. Guided meditation, guided imagery, visualization, and any other forms of meditation can be practiced anywhere at any time. And that's important, right? You don't need fancy equipment or a membership, right? You can do this anywhere, and that's critical. Whether you're out for a walk, riding the bus, anywhere, you can even while you're waiting in my office, right? Just seeing me, you can do that. I have a Calming the Chaos 7-day guided meditation journey, and I'll get that link. My team will get that link to you as well. The Calming Chaos guide is free, and really is a good beginning for you to understand how to meditate, how to start to breathe and understand how to collect your thoughts together. What about eating, right? So many of us, like, there, we had the Michigan State game here, and any of you who are from Michigan know that, hey, you know what? When your team is losing, people start eating and they get stressed, right? Stress eating is one of the worst things, right? Eating foods with low glycemic index, which means sugars that are absorbed, slowly, may help you avoid the lag in energy. So when you eat things that, like, these, you're having your wonderful potato chips or your candy bars, you have a high glycemic index, so the sugars are absorbed quickly. When you have a low glycemic index, sugars are absorbed slowly. It can help you avoid the lag in energy, that lethargy that you have that typically occurs, after you eat quickly. And if you have refined starches and sugars that are absorbed quickly, you can get that crash that we all know about. Foods with low glycemic index, here we go, include whole grains, high fiber vegetables, nuts, and healthy oils such as olive oil. In general, high carbohydrate foods have the highest glycemic indexes. Proteins and fats have glycemic indexes that are close to zero. And so you want to get the carbohydrates that have a low glycemic index. That's important. And to increase your ability to concentrate, you may want to add, for example, some walnuts, avocados, and chocolate to your diet. That'll really help. And then this bad boy, right? Your phone. Very important here. Less screen time. And the curiosity of just checking personal media constantly, right? So many of us, whenever I'm at an airport, whenever I'm anywhere, people are constantly checking. And what research indicates that there's negative consequences when you're using social media during office hours, right? It's been revealed that the adverse effects on self-reported work performance and concentration. But it's not just that; it takes over your life. And so, when we can use less screen time, the better. Now, what about adding natural supplements to your diet? So, some dietary supplements can help jumpstart the production and release of serotonin. They include L-tryptophan supplements, right? L-tryptophan, for those of you know, you may know this already, is an essential amino acid that helps the body makes protein and certain brain signaling chemicals. Your body changes L-tryptophan into serotonin. And so, what about SAMe, S adenosyl L methionine? So that's derived from an amino acid, and they help to increase serotonin and may improve depression symptoms. And then St. John's wort. A lot of my patients have talked to me about this. Now, this supplements seems to improve symptoms of depression for some people, but research hasn't shown consistent results. And then 5-HTP, we talked about this. This supplement can easily enter your brain and produce serotonin, right? And studies have shown that it can be as effective as antidepressants for those with early signs of depression. That's really important, right? So it can be as effective as some of the medicines that we're having prescriptions for. So with all these thoughts in mind, I introduced my supplement, Dr. Nandy's mood support. I wanted it to be safe. I wanted it to be effective mood supplement that can help my patients and others, right, get through the down times in their lives. And working with teams of scientists, we really create an effective supplement that on the market that really promotes not just highs and making them people have an elevated mood, but balanced emotions. And it called mood support. It's an amino acid 5-HTP that plays an important role in the production of serotonin, and it's formulated so you can experience greater calm, reduced pain, better sleep, and increased feelings of overall well-being. They can help you do that. Now, my team will put up a link to this as well. Again, no supplement's perfect, but we wanted to have one that is safe and effective that can really help you to be able to balance out these moods. Because some of the most common drugs that we prescribe in this country and the world are what antidepressants and mood stabilizers, and this can really help you in that process. In addition to doing all the things we talk about, taking walks, right? Spending time with your family, spending less screen time, making sure you eat properly. All this can be part of an plan. I think that it's important to look at all of these holistically. It's not just one size fits all. In summary, right? Stressful lifestyle, you know, compared with not compared with, but complemented with poor diets often cause what we call depletions of serotonin. We talked about serotonin as an important chemical in your mood, and mood support has been used for many years to replenish, basically to give back the serotonin levels and support a healthy mood and sleep regulation, sleep cycle regulation, because you want to get the right quality of sleep. Now, supplementing with mood support has been really shown to increase serotonin levels in the central nervous system, and the essential amino acid called tryptophan is converted into mood support by the enzymes tryptophan hydroxylase. So, tryptophan hydroxylase can be inhibited, meaning that it can be stopped by many factors, including stress, insulin resistance, vitamin B6 deficiency, and not enough magnesium levels. So supplementation with mood support, it bypasses, it's important to understand this, bypasses the conversion of tryptophan to mood support, and this supports the optimal levels of serotonin. So when you have, right, when you have the 5-HTP, this can also cross the blood-brain barrier and bypasses the competition with other amino acids, really making it more efficient and really helping with serotonin production. And when you have adequate levels of serotonin, that's associated with a sense of calmness and relaxation, which is what we want. You don't want too many highs or lows, but you want the sense of calmness and relaxation. And many studies have shown that mood support supports a healthy frame of mind, good energy levels, comfortable movements, and also restful sleep. Multiple studies have shown that doses between 100 and 600 milligrams a day have been shown to also help with other ailments, physical ailments that can be associated, such as headaches. Clinical studies. What about sleep? Clinical studies showed that using the chemicals that we have in mood support also helps maintain healthy sleep regulation. Mood support improves quality of sleep by extending what's called rapid eye movement, or a REM phase, as well as increasing deep sleep stages of non-REM sleep. So bottom line is that it can really help you get the right quality of deep sleep, so you can get the restful sleeps that you need. And then added bonus, appetite regulation. A lot of people talk about, you know, how can sleep and mood affect my appetite, right? When you remember this, when you have the right chemicals, it can assist with carbohydrate cravings. Mood support's also been shown to support normal hypothalamic regulation. That's the stuff in your brain that regulates all kinds of hormones, and in this case, can regulate or help you to decrease appetite and maintain a normal appetite instead of too high or too low. In one study, actually, when this was administered 5 times a day for 8 weeks, adults, adult overweight women significantly had feelings of post meal hunger satisfaction. So you were talking about people that are overweight, and they're being supported to be able to naturally have a way to be able to not overeat, to have post meal hunger satisfaction, so you're not always hungry. And an additional double blind study, I'll talk about this, using 900 milligrams of the chemicals found in mood support, was found to produce significant weight loss in obese women, reduced carbohydrate intake, and improved satiety, which means feeling full. And this was observed. So lots of benefits, right? We'll go over it again. Help with mood, help with sleep, help with not just quantity but quality of sleep, and even appetite. Help with appetite regulation and weight control, because it's such a big problem. Remember, anger, sadness, feeling down or feeling melancholy are normal human emotions. We all feel them from time to time, especially when you have unfortunate events happen, and you know things happen in your life, right? But if the sadness or anger lasts for more than just a small period of time, it's vitally important to be able to take note of it and affect and make some changes, right? It might be time to talk to someone like your family doctor, professional therapist. Fight the urge to just be using social media when you need to concentrate. It may help to improve your productivity and concentration if you're not always on that phone. Try to get 10 to 15 minutes at least of sunlight each day to boost not only serotonin levels but vitamin D levels too. If you live in an area where you can't get enough natural sunlight, consider using light therapy to get that needed daily sunlight. And be sure to manage stress. And I have a comment in the chaos guide that we will put on the link here for you to be able to try free of charge. And again, if supplements are something that you'd like to try, my mood support, very very important. It will give you the support you need with getting 5-HTP, which I think will be very very helpful to be able to give you the relief that you need. Remember, 5-HTP, it plays an important role in the production of serotonin, and we talked about serotonin, how it can really be effective in mood control, but also in sleep, and really improving the quality of your life. So again, we'll put a link, and if you feel like this is a something that could be useful for you, we're going to give 10% off right away off your first order, and I think you'll enjoy it. Let us know if you do try it, how it works for you. Again, remember that this is all part of a holistic program. You don't just take a supplement and boom, it'll work. You have to incorporate that with diet. You have to incorporate that with movement. I talk about the 5 steps and 5 pillars in your life, which is what: having purposeful living, having spirituality, having the right nutrition plan, making sure you have a community around you, right? And then movement with purpose. You want to make sure that you have not just one item, like I took a supplement, that's all it happens, or I just walked, that's all it happens. No, it's putting this all together. So I know a lot of you had made some comments, so let me take a look and see if I can at least address some of them. Barbara Schrader, good evening. How are you? I appreciate you joining us today. Dulce Valdez and Michelle says, what are some of the symptoms associated with depression? There can be many, right? We know about the feelings of sadness. Often people have difficulty sleeping early, waking in the morning. One of the critical things about depression is that you stop enjoying the things that you normally like, right? The stuff that you normally like to do, you are not doing anymore. And the stuff that really gets you rejuvenated, you're not doing anymore. Very, very important. And then Lily Hunter says, I use melatonin and Zoloft. I think that melatonin can help, especially with sleep. But if take a look at our mood support, see if it may be right for you. And Pat O'Bannon says, I can't sleep at night. My mind will not shut down. If I don't take meds, I'll be awake at night. I want to be off meds. I agree with you. We have and we'll put a link up here for you, Pat, to help you with sleep support. And we formulated something that was safe and not addictive, and also not a prescription. And please take a look at that and see if it's beneficial for you. I also love the fact, if we can turn off our TVs, all our electronic devices 1 hour before going to sleep. Try to go to sleep, Pat, every day at the same time. All right. And then no coffee, no alcohol. I would say if you're really suffering from it, at least 4 hours before going to bed. Very important. And I like meditation and yoga. Try to do that. And if you don't have your electronic device with you, so much better. Right? So much better. And then Michelle says, what do we do? What do we take to help? And I think that this mood support may be a good option, Michelle. I think it, again, not everything worked for everybody, but the combination of the components really will help you to be able to get the support that you need, to be able to get mood regulation, better sleep. I think it really could make the difference. And again, we'll put a link for you. Barbara Schrader says, last 3 years has been difficult for me. I lost my mom to cancer, and a year later, I lost my 56-year-old brother to COVID. Oh my, I'm sorry to hear that, Barbara. A lot of other family members. It's again, sadness is a part of life, but clearly this is lasting a long time for you. All the things I talked about, you really have to watch what you're eating. You try to get movement into your life. Try to make sure that you have a good, strong community next to you. It's important. Mood support may be something that's helpful for you. I mean, we did this because there was a need, right? Lots of people are having these issues, especially post COVID. The statistics I talk about, that happiness and people not being as happy after COVID, and a lot of that is the stress of becoming ill. But so many folks lost their loved ones, and my condolences to you. But I think if you follow some of the things I talked about, it may be helpful for you. But thank you for joining me. Um, Rossi Castellanos, I notice mood changes in the fall in the Midwest and affects my sleep. Absolutely. When you have less sunlight, when you have more nighttime, you got the cascade of events. Serotonin becomes lower and you get more melatonin, you get sleepier and less energy. So that's why, it's important to try to get sunlight, try to get movement. The mood support may be helpful for you too, Rossi. So let's take a look, and Pat O'Bannon says my nose is clean. Thank goodness. Pat from Texas, go Astros. I'm looking forward to seeing the Astros. Astros are, I love the Astros. Two of my favorite players, Verlander and Altuve, the Dynamo. So yeah, go Astros indeed. And then Kajori Dash Gupta. Mr. Dash Gupta, one of the best ways to be able to get serotonin is to be able to, like I talked about, movement, exercise, sunlight, eating the right foods, right, and not getting simple carbohydrates. We also have a great solution in mood support if you're interested in doing that. I don't know where let us know where you're joining us from, but we're trying to figure out international shipping route. Right now we can ship in the United States, but not international quite yet. We're almost there. So Amanda Fernandez says walking is wonderful. It really is. And most people can walk unless you really, really have problems with your knees or joints. You can walk. It doesn't require equipment. It's great exercise. You can walk with your friends. To me, it does multiple things, right? It's movement with purpose. It's a community. It's spirituality. To me, it's really almost cleansing. It's amazing. So that's a great thought. And Rossi Castellanos says, "What do you think of sun lamps?" I think light lamps or getting the light that you need without sunlight is a great idea. Make sure you know the source. Make sure you're getting the right the light equipment that you need. Please message me and we'll give you some recommendations as well. Let's see, and then Pat O'Bannon says, "Can you take your supplements with Xanax and Zoloft?" You should be able to. I want you to check with your doctor first, but the levels are not so high that you cannot take it with the Zoloft. Typically, it should not be a problem, but check with your doctor first. Obviously, we're giving general advice. We're not um, seeing you or treating you as if your medical doctor would, but very, very important question. But I think it should be fine from knowing what Zoloft does. But check with your doctor first. And then Rossi Castellano says my mood postpartum. Yeah, mood postpartum. There's clearly postpartum depression, and it can last for a long time, and it can affect serotonin levels. It's a complex cascade. Clearly talk to your doctor. If you can't get help, let us know. We can try to introduce you to some people. But this is a complex problem that requires you to be able to understand the significance of the problem, because often folks who have postpartum depression are not supported. So you have to talk therapy is important. Sometimes medicine can help, and I think mood support can also help you, but really important to talk to your doctor, because this can be serious. People have had suicidal ideations, meaning that ideas to really harm themselves and sometimes even harm babies, because it gets to be overwhelming, and people are surprised when they look back at the feelings that they had, but it's real, and that's what you have to understand. It's real, and you're not alone if you have feelings of depression or feelings of melancholy or sadness. That can happen, and it's been well reported. So please get some help. If we can, let us know. We can try to point you in the right direction. Hey, well, thank you so much, you guys, for sticking around, even though we had a complete close up of me here, and even though I didn't intend to. Remember, make healthy living a part of every day. I will talk to you again next week, and we'll give you another topic. Remember, make healthy living a part of every day. It's important to be having a holistic methodology, and making your health and wellness priority is super important. Namaste. I'll talk to you soon. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Partha Nandi. And if you enjoyed that video, you're going to love the next one. It's full of incredible information to help you start your health hero journey.